Hello to all astrology lovers. Today, we are discussing the upcoming new moon in the sign of the zodiac Scorpio. It will take place on November 1st at 1446. Our time in 9-10 degrees of the sign. In general, before we examine the characteristics of this full moon, let's discuss what this astrological event is and how it manifests in our lives. Firstly, the new moon is an astrological event when the moon and the sun align in the same zodiac sign, positioned at the same point in the sky from the perspective of an observer on Earth. At this moment, the moon is located between the Earth and the sun. Its illuminated side is not visible, and it appears to be disappearing. The new moon always opens. The new cycle lasts 29.5 days, and overall, the new moon activates energies in our lives that are related to starting everything new. This means it is a time for launches, planning, and manifesting our desires and intentions. The energies of the new moon are considered the beginning and symbol of new beginnings, new desires, and plans. It is like a blank slate. This is a time when we can make any wishes and build plans. Moreover, the new moon strongly focuses us on our intuition. It creates a deep inner focus because it is during the new moon that the sun and moon align. This aspect always brings us events, but in addition, I call it a kind of bridge when our consciousness connects with our subconscious. We are receiving a completely new volume of information that will manifest for us in the next period, which will mark a specific new moon. Naturally, the characteristics of the new moon's manifestation and its energies depend on the specific sign of the zodiac in which it occurs, as well as in which house of the horoscope this astrological event is realized. Here we can already look at our individual natal charts and understand which area of life the new moon will specifically activate in the next 5 to 6 months. Furthermore, I believe that the new moon is essentially a monthly reset of our lives, when we can start something anew, restart something, or basically launch or begin from scratch. And it is important to consider that the moon is a manifestation of our psyche, our subconscious. Therefore, it is very important here. During this period, pay attention to your inner voice. Now let's consider the specific characteristics of this new moon. It occurs for us in the zodiac sign of Scorpio. What does this mean in general for each of us? The new moon in Scorpio is a period that will be filled with very deep transformations, very deep emotional. The updates are our rebirth because symbolically this is the 8th house, the house of Scorpio, the house of personal changes and transformation. In astrology, it is primarily associated with spirituality, themes of death and rebirth, and personal changes. Additionally, the 8th house relates to resources, intimate relationships, closeness, and esotericism. If it is relevant for someone, the 8th house also opens certain opportunities. That is, this is the house of trust, the house where we encounter very deep psychological and emotional processes that always lead us to personal rebirth. It is important to note that this new moon in Scorpio opens a period for us until May 12, 2025. The waxing moon is active until November 15, 2024, and we have 2 weeks to manifest our intentions, plan something new, launch something, set new goals and tasks, and we are already looking specifically at which area of the horoscope this event will occur for each of you. And now let's take a closer look at what energies this new moon in Scorpio activates, what themes it raises, and what life situations it can create. First, I would like to remind you that this theme of transformation and rebirth is a process of destroying the old to make way for the creation of the new. This new moon can refresh our perspectives and let go of what no longer serves us. It is about courage, the depth of emotions, sensuality, and intuition. These are all the energies of Scorpio that we will bring to the surface during the action of this new moon. And the main themes that will be activated, of course, are personal emotional boundaries, especially in relationships. This is a topic about working with the shadow side of our personality. Here, about internal fears, hidden motives, and some concealed emotions. It is during this new moon that we have the opportunity to get rid of toxic connections and relationships, restore the balance of important, meaningful relationships, or renew them. In addition, the themes of control and ownership of resources, finance, joint resources, debt obligations, financial stability, and security will come to the forefront. For many of us, this new moon will encourage a reevaluation of these areas of our lives. When it comes to possible life situations here, situations arise related to relationships and the expression of emotions in these relationships. These are themes of some hidden grievances, themes of unresolved issues with close people in relationships. This is a very suitable period for sincere conversations, either about the topic of parting ways or about the topic of renewing relationships. This is a very good time to reassess your financial approach to life. It is also a great time to focus on personal projects and career. The 8th house is associated with entrepreneurship and investments, making this a favorable period to launch these aspects of life. The new moon in Scorpio occurs at 9 to 10 degrees, which also carries certain symbolism of deep personal transformation. Here, what will be important for us is the revelation of the hidden aspects of our soul and our striving to understand the mysteries of life. Speaking of the symbolism of degrees, according to the Sabian symbols, the 9th degree of Scorpio demonstrates to us a picture of how a dentist works, the painting emphasizes the importance of eliminating what can disrupt our inner or outer harmony, meaning it represents the degree of freeing ourselves from discomfort, painful situations, and habits that hinder our spiritual or emotional growth. It symbolizes purification and the opportunity to strengthen our personal core. Speaking of the 10th degree of Scorpio, this degree shows us a symbol depicting deep sea divers who collect pearls. That is, the emphasis here is on diving into one's subconscious to search for the pearl of wisdom that is hidden beneath the surface. This symbol inspires us to explore. In the depths of our psyche, there is a readiness to take risks for valuable outcomes and to achieve awareness through inner exploration. In summary, the energy of the new moon in these degrees of Scorpio emphasizes the acquisition of entirely new levels of understanding through emotional and spiritual cleansing, seeking valuable experiences, specifically in the depths of one's subconscious. That is, this period is very strongly synchronized with the 8th house, and this cycle encourages us to free ourselves from some old discomfort and from some pains, some fears, resentments. This is a period when we can intuitively discover some of our hidden talents and inner gifts that were previously inaccessible to us, and apply them to renew ourselves and move forward in life. And if we talk about the ruler of this new moon, this time there are two, the planet Pluto and the co-ruler Mars, which gives a very interesting twist to this new moon, because at the moment of the exact conjunction of the moon and the sun, these two planets are in an opposition aspect. Pluto has been direct since October, but it is still in Capricorn, while Mars is located in the zodiac sign of Cancer, also in the last degrees like Pluto. Be sure to pay attention to which houses of your horoscope these two planets occupy. It is important to note that if these planets do not create an opposition in your personal chart, do not attribute this aspect to yourself. So to begin with, Pluto in Capricorn at the last degrees of the sign symbolizes the 29th to 30th degree of Capricorn, representing the culmination of a very long cycle of deep transformations in the structures and foundations of our lives. Pluto in the final degrees of Capricorn carries a very powerful energy of completion and transformation, especially regarding issues of power and control. This concerns stable systems, both in society and in the personal lives of each of us. This degree is associated with bidding farewell to outdated structures and views that require a strong radical renewal. Here, we experience a kind of removal of such old forms, creating space for a new approach to life and transformation. Pluto in this position intensifies the new moon, focusing our attention on the necessity of implementing these deep changes, particularly regarding responsibility, discipline, and social roles. And, of course, a very wise and sober approach to these changes is needed here. Speaking of the second co-ruler, Mars, which it is also located at 29 to 30 degrees of the zodiac sign Cancer, where the focus is on very strong emotional drives and the culmination of our internal conflicts related to themes of safety, family, relationships, and emotional attachments. Here, Mars in Cancer completes a cycle specifically related to the protection of personal boundaries and the need to safeguard oneself and loved ones. This is, of course, accompanied by a very strong sense of vulnerability and emotional tension. These degrees enhance the determination to protect one's values and emotional boundaries, but at the same time, they require letting go of outdated forms of dependency or excessive caution in our lives. Mars, in this position, emphasizes the importance of finding a balance between actively protecting one's boundaries and values and addressing the needs of those around us, especially in the context of family and close relationships. Considering that this is an opposition, it is the opposition of the two rulers of this new moon. And of course, the aspect creates a very powerful such energies of tension between the desire for control and stability and our emotional needs, our defensive reactions. That is, it is an aspect of such deep internal and external struggle where each of us has to face a conflicting situation related to duty and emotional attachment between social demands and personal needs. The energy of opposition activates hidden fears and compels us to address issues of power and control. And this can manifest in work, in relationships, in family, in marriage, and in business relationships, absolutely in any sphere. Of course, the opposition activates key themes such as the theme of control over vulnerability, the theme of very intense emotions and tension. And speaking of situations, conflicts will arise in relationships, especially related to family and work, where completely different needs and expectations clash. For example, professional ambitions and the need to maintain some emotional connection with loved ones. There will be situations related to a test of endurance and maturity. Situation will be created here for the transformation of one's personal boundaries, and the opposition will prompt each of us to reassess our personal boundaries in relationships. It is important to choose your personal needs and not to compromise yourself in the face of external obligations, debts, or circumstances. Now let's consider the aspects that are at play during this new moon in Scorpio. Of course, Pluto and Mars will complement the opposition. Another opposition is the aspect between the two academic nodes. This is the North Node in Aries, the South Node in Libra, 6 or 7 degrees. And of course, this aspect emphasizes the energetic transition from seeking harmony and dependence on the opinions of others to the theme of self-assertion and initiative. The aspect creates conditions where we are forced to seek a balance between comfort and the necessity to act independently, following our own desires and goals. The South Node in Libra symbolizes for us past habits, past behavior patterns that are associated with yielding, a desire for compromise, and a focus on partnership. The North Node in Aries requires the development of individuality, confidence, and decisiveness. The main themes of this aspect are, of course, dependence and independence, the theme of initiative and personal power. The possible situations that will arise for each of us include, of course, various challenges in relationships, the theme of career and personal growth through active actions related to the North Node in Aries, and the theme of achieving inner balance when we need to overcome some dependency on others' opinions. The ideas of this desire to be good for everyone and our personal need for self-expression in Aries come at a time when we strive to put ourselves first. It is also worth paying attention to two oppositions, the opposition of Venus in Sagittarius and retrograde Jupiter in Gemini, as well as Mercury in Scorpio and retrograde Uranus in Taurus. The Venus-Jupiter aspect gives us energetic tension between our thirst for freedom in relationships and our philosophical views, along with the theme of revising beliefs that may be either very superficial or unreliable. Here, retrograde Jupiter is at work. Venus in Sagittarius seeks a broad perspective, openness, and inspiration. And this can manifest in the search for different experiences and romantic opportunities. Retrograde Jupiter here emphasizes the need to return to the roots, to explore the roots of a situation or problem, to examine the details, and to rethink existing views and approaches. And of course, the aspect gives us conflict, an internal conflict, especially in the areas of love and finances. And here, of course, there may be some impulsiveness and a certain lightness due to Venus, but retrograde Jupiter, of course, brings us back to re-evaluating personal values and priorities. Another aspect is Mercury and retrograde Uranus, where there is a clash of intense deep thinking through Mercury and the desire for breakthroughs and unconventional thinking. And since Mercury is in Scorpio, it tends to be very detail-oriented in its analysis, almost like in Virgo, but even deeper, based on an intuitive perception. And here, a very strong desire to uncover some hidden true motives manifests, especially in situations that are very superficial. Retrograde Uranus in Taurus is certainly pulling us towards super radical changes through some unexpected insights, and these themes may relate to our material stability and established habits. Uranus in Taurus creates opposition that brings sudden insights or situations where information surfaces very unexpectedly, prompting us to reconsider old beliefs or previously made decisions. This all manifests in communications and conflicts related to Mercury, and, of course, it is important to be very flexible and ready to accept these changes here and now in order to make completely new decisions. However, at the time of the new moon in Scorpio, harmonious aspects are also at play. The most important of these are the trines. The trine of Neptune to Mercury and Mars creates a large trine in the sky, forming a significant triangle that provides a very powerful combination of energies, activating our intuition and fostering deep emotional interactions among those around us. I would like to remind you that retrograde Neptune in Pisces directs our attention to the themes of the inner world, intuition, creative self-expression, and our feelings and ideals. Mercury is in Scorpio. It enhances our analytical abilities and allows us to penetrate the essence of things, finding hidden meanings in any communication, and Mars in Cancer emphasizes the theme of protecting our values, emotions, and boundaries. This combination of energies contributes to the formation of a situation where intuition and empathy become very important tools in any type of relationship. Here, one can also find creative solutions to problems that are connected to our emotions. Additionally, inspiration in art can manifest very strongly here, in various forms of creativity. Conflicts can be resolved by using these energies very gently. Additionally, we continue to work with 3 without their style. We talked about them earlier in other videos. They provide us with very powerful supportive energies to help us undergo these transformations more easily. It is also important to note that at the moment of the new moon, the Sun represents our consciousness and is in a trine with the karmic planet retrograde Saturn in Pisces. This trine gives us a very harmonious connection between our personal transformations and the discipline of Saturn. The Sun in Scorpio will guide us towards self-discovery, our emotional experiences, and the desire for transformation. Retrograde Saturn will bring focus to rethinking your duties, responsibilities, boundaries, and analyzing past experiences to find completely new, mature approaches to your goals and life situations. Therefore, the trine is very favorable. The supportive energy gives us an activation of personal power, but with a structural support from Saturn, and the moon is also in this aspect in relation to Saturn. Here, the influence occurs at the level of the subconscious, at the level of our psyche. So, the energies of this aspect can be very well utilized to our advantage. Now, let's consider the new moon in Scorpio, separately for each of the 12 zodiac signs. Dear Cancers, the new moon in Scorpio is in your 5th house of the horoscope, highlighting themes of your creative impulses, creative initiatives, creativity, inspiration, romantic relationships, and interactions with your children. The 5th house is responsible for leisure, pleasure, and hobbies. In the upcoming period, these themes will come to the forefront for you due to the energies of this new moon, and it may present you with situations related to the beginning of creative projects and inspiration for creating something new. This can include any artistic work, any forms of creativity, and any creative projects, as well as a deepening of romantic relationships. There may be new acquaintances and new relationships, or the strengthening of existing relationships. There will be changes in your interactions with your children. Perhaps it is time to rethink some approaches to parenting or spending time together, and of course, considering that you are a Scorpio, it will bring very intense emotional experiences for you, dear Cancers. To work with the energies of this new moon, be sure to engage in written practices. Write down your intentions regarding these areas of life. Make sure to do creative practices because creativity allows all emotions, especially suppressed emotions and fears, to surface. Working with emotions during this new moon is essential. In fact, flow and meditation, as well as some spiritual practices, are encouraged. Additionally, spend time enjoying yourself, have fun, whether through games or new encounters, perhaps some romantic adventures. Furthermore, consider the influence of the opposition of the ruler of this new moon, Pluto and Mars. Pluto is in your 7th house, while Mars is in your 1st house. This position creates significant tension that will manifest in various situations, particularly concerning themes of relationships, your personal power, and self-expression. Conflicts may arise between your personal desires and your partnership. Mars in the 1st house indicates that personal ambitions and aspirations will clash with the needs of either your partner or those around you. Here, one may encounter pressure from a partner due to Pluto. Additionally, tension may arise in any type of relationship. The 7th house represents marital relationships, business relationships, and client relationships. Tensions may arise here, such tense situations. And conflicts may arise in addition to questions related to power and control, because Pluto is in your 7th house of the horoscope. This will strongly affect you, leading to personal transformations that cannot be avoided. There will be emotional outbursts, naturally leading to disputes, discussions, and conflicts. It is still important to assert your personal boundaries. The North Node outward represents the theme of individuality and self-expression. In any case, I wish you success during this period. Use the energies to your advantage. Subscribe, like, and share this video. Goodbye.